All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Going to be touching on the top prop bets today, this Wednesday, on both PrizePicks and Underdog. Let's go in and get into it. But first, just a quick recap from yesterday. So yesterday was another good day. The 4 college basketball props I ended up recommending to you guys hit. And really, the only reason why these 2 Dallas ones didn't hit is you're going to see 4 steals for Josh Green. Clearly, that's an outlier. And then same thing with PJ Washington, who ended up having 4 stalks as well. That's something I'm kind of okay with stomaching. So that gives us a total units profit one of 98.5 on the season, or in 2024 thus far. So again, continuing the hot stretch that we've been on, 7 for 11 total yesterday. But looking at today's slate, college basketball wise, and I like to start there because that seems to be the biggest edge that we're getting right now. Like, it's just kind of clear, right? And so as it sits right now, it does seem like we might have a slighter edge on something like Underdog. Typically speaking, that's no shock there. So, and what I mean by that is we sort by these prop line differences, or I'll just put it in there into the data set here for you guys. You'll be able to see that a lot of these lines where the data is already favoring the under on PrizePicks, it's also going to be doing that for Underdog. So Underdog is typically more aggressive. So to me, that tells me the edge that we are getting on Underdog is pretty vast. And if we flip it the other way, not really the case there. So here's one. So interesting. Like, I don't know. Geez. I mean, we got to bet the over for Tyler Kolek here, right? This is something that actually popped up in his last game. Basically the exact same situation. And he ended up middling. Middling is when, his fantasy score ends up in the middle of both of them. So I think that's a good opportunity for us again this week for Tyler Kolek. So I will be doing that on PrizePicks. But let's just take a peek at the Underdog side of it. And so, yeah, it appears that we are getting much bigger edges today on Underdog, as we typically are. But really, I might be taking advantage of these ones where we are getting those prop line differences because it's just nice to know that there's a statistical outlier that when we compare it to PrizePicks, compare it to the average sportsbook line, and compare it to the projection data, the data is telling us that these lines here are too high for Underdog. And so that's the route that I want to go. And while we are on Underdog, I want to show you guys some PGA props that we are getting. I highlighted this on my 9 to 5 Golf YouTube channel, which, as an FYI, if you guys haven't found it out yet or checked it out, a subscribe would be greatly appreciated. Trying to get to 500 subscribers really by next week. So 14 of you can jump in there and hit the subscribe button, that would be greatly appreciated. This channel is linked to the 9 to 5 Sports channel, the one that you're watching right now. But looking at it, we are seemingly getting some pretty good edges. So what I was working on Sunday, and I kind of mentioned this, is that I was working on updating the tools for golf specifically so that we could include it as part of a drop-down menu in this cheat sheet for you guys. So Jake Knapp, he is currently coming in off of a victory, so that does worry me that he might not show up, be like mentally ready to go. But we are seeing that his fantasy score is going to be a good over bet. Same thing with Chris Kirk for over his fantasy score. We're seeing Cameron Young maybe under his birdie or better is one that's popping up as well. But I want to call out some of these prop line differences that we are getting here. So we're going to see a lot of big prop line differences. Now, I tweeted this out, which I think they saw it and have adjusted some of their lines, but we are still getting a pretty big edge. So specifically speaking, Rory here, guys, fairways hit. Again, like this should never happen, especially in golf. Like 9.5 fairways hit compared to 8. Like, that is huge, okay? We look at the projection data. We look at the average sportsbook line. It does suggest that the line should probably be 8.5 or 9. But this tells me this is a great middling opportunity. The chances are Rory will probably hit the middle of this. So I like that prop bet. I think that's a good prop bet to bet on both sites. And then we flip this around as well. One thing that I noticed about Underdog here is that, wow, interesting. Okay, so interesting. And this is why, I don't know, I don't like tweeting stuff out. I put this in the Discord chat last night. The greens in regulation. PrizePicks is the one that bumped theirs down. And so I'll just show you guys the tweet real quick. Whatever. It's zoomed in right now, but we are getting some big prop line differences for Rory. And then here's the greens in regulation as well. There's a lot more yesterday, but it's interesting that PrizePicks has actually come down and not Underdog going up. And I phrase it that way because the course changed a par 4 into a par 5. That should basically mean that everyone is going to be hitting that green in regulation now. And so to me, we look at the average sportsbook line. The line, typically speaking, at this tournament is about 11.7 greens hit in regulation. You tack on that par 5 or that par 4 changes into a par 5. To me, it seemed like Underdog was the one that was wrong, a little bit too low. So interesting that they switched that. So really, in terms of edges for Underdog here, fantasy score, it seems like that's the best one, but we are still getting some fairways hit props, not as big as it was yesterday. Again, if you guys want to get some golf props specifically, check out that channel, okay? And then just looking in terms of PrizePicks, we are getting some edges there as well. Again, Cameron Young under his fantasy score. We see Jake Knapp for 3.5 birdies or better the over. That correlates pretty well with his fantasy score prop, just as an FYI. And then again, yeah, Rory for his over fairways hit. That one feels pretty good as well. So very interesting. And we are getting some, not so much today, but we are getting a couple spots where the strokes is a little bit different as well. But let's go ahead and jump into probably what most of you guys came in here for, NBA. Oh no, guys. PJ Washington under fantasy scores popping up again. What do we do with that? What do we do with that? No, I'm actually fine with betting that under there, guys. Again, the reason why he was able to get there yesterday is because he had 3 stocks. Okay, that's not going to happen. He's not going to get 3 blocks and a steal. Like, that is not the norm. Maybe 2, maybe 1, but let's just say he does only get 2. Obviously, he doesn't hit that over. So yesterday, I would argue the data was right. You can't really predict those random outliers for that stat category. So I'm fine with that. Gary Trent Jr. was someone that really popped for us on his last game. He was able to get his over fantasy score. But then from there, it becomes much more tight in terms of the props that we want to go out of our way to target. So really, we got 2 here, PJ Washington and then also Gary Trent Jr. Feel pretty good about both of those. And then real quick, we'll jump into NHL. So NHL, I really only see one really good prop bet. That's going to be Connor McDavid for his overshots on goal at 3.5. We can see the projection data likes him to get 4.4. The average sportsbook line is giving him about a 53% chance to get that over as well. So that is seemingly going to be a good prop bet for us. I wouldn't be surprised if this one actually gets bumped throughout the day. I have seen that happen a little bit more frequently. So I think we are getting a lot of solid prop bets, maybe not a lot of elite prop bets. So let's go ahead and give you guys the bet of the day today. So starting with PrizePicks, I do have this kind of in order of how I would go about using them tonight. Tyler Kolek, we saw that's just a clear outlier. And then Rory, like these are 2 actually pretty good middling opportunities that we have. So again, if you want to bet the over fantasy score for Tyler Kolek on PrizePicks, do that. And then more fairways hit for Rory on PrizePicks. And then on Underdog, we're doing the exact opposite because again, there shouldn't be those big differences that there are. If you guys are wondering why we've been able to have such a hot stretch through 2024, it's doing stuff like this. You know, limiting the risk that we have on the slate, which increases our likelihood to profit. And then these other ones, we're just seeing that the data really likes them. Connor McDavid, you could sub in Jake Knapp for over 3.5 birdies or better instead. I'd be fine with that one. So just rolling with a bunch of the good bets that we are getting for college basketball. Feel pretty good about these ones. I do want to call out that I will be using Tyler Kolek in a separate slip, not for the bet of the day, but I will be running out the lower fantasy score for him because again, that prop line difference should not be that great. It should really just be 1. And I'm just going to be attaching all these other good ones that we have. Again, just want to remind you guys, if you guys are new to Underdog and have never signed up, just use the promo code 905. That'll kick back some money my way. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, they update throughout the day. They are available for just $10 a month. Most people, hopefully, if they're using the tools, win that money back within the week. I would assume so. So thank you guys for watching. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.